look up the course. We have the live race, the men's 8 to come, and then we'll recap. But first of all, confirmation of the women's 8 result. Romania beating Australia comfortably ahead of Great Britain. As you see, the men coming on to the pontoons. Closest to you in lane number 6 are the French, who didn't enter the Worlds last year, even though it was on home water at Aiguebelette. 2 up from you, Russia, who were second in Munich. Then Romania, who were the winners in Munich, the first World Cup regatta. Then Great Britain, who were 4th, and right at the top of the screen there in lane 2, Holland, who are the Olympic champions, but I hasten to add this is a very different 8, and New Zealand will be furthest away in lane number 1. United States, who were the world champions last year, only 5th in Munich. They're not here. In fact, the only American on duty in Haselwinkel is the single-sculler Jamie Coven, and more about him when we look back at the men's single sculls, which I promise you is a cracking race. Great Britain, 4th in the world last year, 4th in Munich. Chris Cormack in the coxswain seat, Steve Trapmore, the man setting the rhythm for the British, and Romania could be tough to beat. Russia, again, this is a pretty settled boat. 5 of the crew that finished 6th in last year's Worlds are still in the boat, and this is a completely new outfit. So France, closest to you, then Russia, then Romania in lane number 4, then Great Britain in 3, Netherlands in 2, and New Zealand in 1. Dutch. Well, it was a wonderful victory in the Olympics. In fact, they did it with some style. It was a beautifully balanced and flowing boat, and the Dutch would love to get back to something like that. So the starter just running down the order now, and then we should be away. Again, time not important, just important to get across the line first. Well, that's interesting, the clock starting to run before the race has, but away we go. The traffic light system now virtually eliminating the opportunity for false starts. Going away with the blue of France in lane number 6. Up to the Dutch now. And taking the first advantage, Russia in lane number 5. And just above them, Romania, and then Great Britain. Great Britain, who rode well in the heats. It was Great Britain and Romania who got direct passage through to the finals, having won their respective heats. And there wasn't that much time. The British won theirs in 5:41, the Romanians in 5:36, although maybe that margin shouldn't give you the idea that the British can necessarily overhaul the Romanians. But it's the British trying to make every stroke a winning one now, and they take the advantage. So Great Britain with a canvas ahead of the Romanians. Russia in 3rd place as we go through the first quarter. And on the far side it would be New Zealand ahead of the Netherlands. New Zealand just about in 4th place. And on the close side, the closest to you, the French, just beginning to suffer. But now you can see battle is really joined now. Lane 4, the bow of the Romanian boat. And Thatcher in the bow for Great Britain. And they've still got that advantage, not so wide as it was at the 500-meter point, as the Romanians begin to just claw back those centimeters that they gave away in the first quarter. Romanians look as if by the time we reach 1,000 meters that they may well have taken the advantage. Just getting that little bit more extension. And still in third place now, the Russians, who burst off from the blocks quite quickly. And Romania pretty well on terms with the British now. Far side, New Zealand, closest to France, and trailing at the moment the Dutch. Has been a characteristic of Dutch crews to come late. Whether this one has the capacity to do that, we shall see. Romania it is, through at the half distance, ahead of Britain, then Russia, and probably just France ahead of New Zealand, and Holland in 6th place. Romanians silver medalists in the World Championships. Haven't had, that was one of their best results, because they were a disappointing 7th in the Olympic Games back in Atlanta, and only 5th in the World Championships in '95. So the Romanians finding a combination of talent that could well see them challenging for more honours in the Worlds. But their objective now will be to win this and to consolidate their position at the head of the World Cup rankings. Remember, one more regatta to go, and that's between Friday the 10th and Sunday the 12th of Lucerne in Switzerland, when we expect the Germans to be back to challenge with their 8. So Romania now, with Britain still in 2nd place. The Russians not finding much at the moment. Russians half a length off the British. French just closing up a little bit. They've got the better of New Zealand, and still the Dutch languish in 6th place. Now the real question now being asked of the British. The Romanians have popped it to them, and the British trying to work to get themselves back in it. And Romania, having already just 10 minutes or so ago wrapped up the women's 8s, looking for the 8s double victory now. French beginning to improve again now after a very steady section in the middle part of the race. But Romania now extending the advantage, looking for clear water, and they've got the best part, a little bit more than 3/4 of the length over the British, who are now having to hold off the Russians. The Russians beginning to try and raise their game, the French coming into it as well. So again, this looks a battle for 2nd and 3rd points here. The British now beginning to try and respond, looking to their left now. The Russians beginning to close on them. Still the British, though, with a good 1/4 of a length over the Russians. The angle a little deceptive. The Romanians going for the line now. They're clear. I think the British are going to hang on. Romania won. Great Britain are going to be in 2nd place. And it's very close. Russia just holding off France for 3rd, with New Zealand in 5th place, and Holland in 6th, which is the position they've occupied for pretty well the whole of the 2,000 metres. So good effort there by the Romanians, and just underlines they've got a lot of strength in depth. But the World Cup, as important as it is, the major challenge for all these crews will be the World Championships in Cologne in September, and the real question is whether they can maintain this form right through to then. Plenty of action to come, and that's when we come back.
Eurosport invites you to escape with her